All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. It is August 16th, 2025. Appreciate you being here. This one is entitled Breakthrough, because we were wondering, has there been a breakthrough? We're going to be talking a lot about what happened yesterday in Alaska. Some good, some not so good, some up in the air and questionable. There's going to be meetings. Zelensky's coming to the White House on Monday, and we're going to talk about Trump talking to Putin and all the implications thereof. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. If you'd like to change your IRA into gold and silver, this is one of the best ways to do it. Apologize for not a video yesterday. This is an extremely busy 72 hours for me, and so this is about the only 25-minute break I have where I can come and bring things to you. So we have been working. We have a full report for you. We'll be doing it here, and we'll be back tomorrow with our normal stuff. That being said, let's get going. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit the like buttons and do the engagement thing, and we appreciate you. If you'd like to find out a transcript on all this, it is on Substack, where more and more people are going. It is the best place to be. It comes right to your email. It's got all of the different links and descriptions and everything, so you can follow along, and you can follow the links to where they go. Some are smaller channels, some are bigger channels. We'll go to Wall Street Journal, Reuters, but then we'll also go to Russian channels, Israeli channels, any channel that's going to give me good information and provide a full picture. We basically will attend that spot. So we appreciate you being here. We are going to get started right now. Again, please hit the like button, do the subscribe thing if you're new here and like what we are doing. And please consider joining us on Substack. It is the place where we're going, and we're doing a lot of things. I get over 10,000 views a month just on Substack alone. To put that into perspective, this channel gets 30,000 views a month from YouTube. So it is growing in leaps and bounds, and they're being good to us. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing with them. But we appreciate you being here. Let's get started on your crisis report for August 16th, 2025. Trump-Putin meeting has ended after nearly 3 hours yesterday. There was supposed to be a lunch, but they canceled it, and now we're getting all the information that is going on. Putin hopes understanding will be reached with Trump will bring Ukraine peace. Trump on the peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia. Quote, a great and very successful day in Alaska. The meeting with President Vladimir Putin of Russia went very well, and did a late-night phone call with President Zelensky of Ukraine and various European leaders, including the highly respected Secretary General of NATO. It was determined by all that the best way to end the horrific war between Russia and Ukraine is to go directly to a peace agreement. This would end the war and not a mere ceasefire agreement, which oftentimes does not hold up. President Zelensky will be coming to D.C., the Oval Office, on Monday afternoon. If all works out, we will then schedule a meeting with President Putin. Potentially millions of lives will be saved. Thank you for your attention to this matter. World is a safer place after the Trump-Putin summit, says Hungarian Prime Minister. The United States proposed NATO-like security guarantees for Ukraine without joining the bloc, according to a diplomatic source in the Associated Press. The United Kingdom Prime Minister Starmer says that Trump's efforts brought us closer than ever before to ending the Ukraine war. China's top diplomat Wang is going to visit India for border talks. Leaders of France, Germany, UK are going to host a call Sunday for Ukraine's allies. Netanyahu has become a problem, says Danish Prime Minister. Putin has demanded Ukraine withdraw from the eastern Donetsk region as a first step towards ending the Russia-Ukraine war. Bush. Russian President Vladimir Putin left flowers on the graves of Soviet soldiers at the Fort Richardson Memorial Cemetery in Alaska. The graves honor the Soviet pilots and sailors who died while bringing equipment from the U.S. to the USSR during World War II, according to the Kremlin. Putin has refused a ceasefire, seeking only lasting peace, Trump says. Trump says that it was determined by all the best way to end the war is to go directly to a peace agreement, not a ceasefire, and that Zelensky will be visiting the White House on Monday. Trump is trying to separate Russia from China and destroy their friendship. Russia and China are basically natural enemies. Russia has a tremendous amount of land. China has a tremendous amount of people. China needs Russian land. He's not wrong. Trump advises Zelensky to accept the deal because he will lose. Make a deal. Russia's a very big power, and you're not, end quote. Netanyahu's cyber chief has been arrested in Vegas on child predator sting. Sent to Israel, free. He's an IDF vet, head of the AI for Israeli government. Mainstream media refuses to report the news. We do it here. That's why we're hindered and suppressed. Las Vegas police, working with the FBI, Homeland Security, and Nevada's Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, announced the arrest of 8 men in a 2-week child predator sting. One of those men was Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, 38, top Israeli cyber warfare official working directly under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. California farmers are left high and dry as PG&E, with Governor Newsom's approval, has cut off water to generational farms and ranches in order to protect salmon. I did a video on this on PrepperNow. So magical how the video didn't do so well. So crazy how it is whenever you talk negative against our protected masters, it doesn't work well on here. I did this video 3 days ago. It fully examines all of the different stuff going on, and you should check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you were not notified. This happened 2 months before harvest. We're looking at having to go out of business, said cattle rancher Bernie Eccles. Newsom also authorized the draining of Lake Pillsbury Reservoir, causing wells to run dry and depleting the water used for firefighting, just like the Palisades fire. When they cut the river flow, they totally reneged on our water rights. He says there are 65 appropriative water rights from the powerhouse discharge to Lake Mendocino. PG&E's arbitrary cut wiped them out. Without water to irrigate our fields and recharge our groundwater, we'll lose our ability to produce hay in our best grazing ground. He says we'll lose the ability to provide great local beef and lamb to our community. That link is right here if you'd like to see it on Substack. We cover it all, good, better, or indifferent. Following the start of an IDF major offensive towards Zaytun of northern Gaza, the resistance groups in Gaza have responded with clashes immediately. Sarahia al-Quds brigades reported detonating unspecified anti-tank IEDs on 2 unspecified military vehicles near the Ashur oil press and Al-Aliyin Mosque of Tutua Street in Zaytun yesterday. The Al-Qassam brigades reported that one targeting of a Merkava tank using a Yasin 105mm dual warhead tandem in the Al-Musalaba of Zaytun today, targeting a Merkava 4 tank and a D9 Caterpillar bulldozer using Yasin 105mm dual warhead tandems on Street 8 of Zaytun. Carried out a complex ambush in Al-Barasi, southern Zaytun, yesterday, targeting IDF infantry forces fortified in a building using a TBG or thermobaric projectile and proceeded with machine gun and sniper fire. Unit then destroyed 2 unspecified troop carriers, lodging IEDs into the commander hatches and targeted a Namer APC using a Yasin 105mm tandem. Withdrawing, the unit then targeted IDF infantry forces fortified within 2 buildings using TBG 7VR dual warhead thermobaric projectiles. Casualties confirmed. Mujahideen brigades said that targeting an IDF Merkava tank using a Sa'ir projectile in Al-Musalaba of Zaytun today. Senator Ted Cruz urges President Trump to formally recognize Somaliland, calling it a strategic ally in counterterrorism and a key player against China's influence on the Horn of Africa. Alcohol consumption is at its lowest rate since 1939, Republicans leading the way. Alex Jones, InfoWars assets will be sold to pay over $1 billion in debts to Sandy Hook families, according to a judge. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones will have to sell his InfoWars assets to pay more than $1 billion he owes to the families of victims of the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, according to Texas court ruling. Court-appointed receiver will be responsible for taking over and selling the assets of InfoWars to pay off Jones's debts to Sandy Hook families, according to the order signed by Judge Maya Guerra Gamble in Austin. The order has the potential to shut Jones out of his studio in the coming days, forcing the conspiracy theorist. I love how they put that in there. New York Post, okay. Forcing the conspiracy theorist to fork over the company's property, recording equipment, and brand name, the filing indicated. His debts amount to a whopping $1,288,139,555, according to court documents. Melania Trump threatened Hunter Biden with a billion-dollar lawsuit demanding he retract last interview, and Hunter issued a formal apology. His response was no. Israeli police have banned the Feast of the Transfiguration on August 19th in Mount Tabor. Event usually draws thousands of Orthodox pilgrims. Archbishop Attila Hanna condemned the move as unjustified and part of wider restrictions on Christian celebrations similar to the Holy Saturday. He also said that our Orthodox Church will celebrate the Feast of Transfiguration next Tuesday, August 19th, Eastern Calendar, with the main celebration taking place at the Monastery of the Transfiguration on the summit of Mount Tabor. Yesterday, the Israeli police issued a statement announcing a ban on holding the celebration of the Feast of Transfiguration, citing, as they claim, security reasons and matters related to public safety. I warn against the consequences and dangers of this action, which infringe upon the important Christian feast, recalling that the similar something also happens on Holy Saturday in Jerusalem, as if there were a deliberate targeting of Christian holidays aiming to disrupt these feasts and intimidate believers from reaching the holy sites where these spiritual occasions are held. Israeli police decision to ban the celebration of the Feast of the Transfiguration is extremely serious. It is not within the police's authority to decide whether a religious celebration takes place or not, and the so-called security of other pretexts cannot be believed in any way. Recent years, the mountain was crowded with worshipers and pilgrimage, thousands of them coming from various regions. During that time, visitors from all over the world came to participate in the celebration and witness the cloud that appears on the night of the Feast of Transfiguration. Call for rejecting this decision and not surrendering or submitting to arbitrary measures. We respect the issue of public safety and understand the security situation, but this must not come from the expense of the feast or the religious occasion, which takes place only once a year on the summit of Mount Tabor. It keeps going, but we'll stop there. British military chiefs have given up on the idea of a 30,000 strong contingent to protect Ukraine's ports and cities, according to the Times. They are now said to be proposing a more realistic mission involving air reassurance over Western Ukraine, training support to the Ukrainian military, and the clearance of mines from the Black Sea. Data centers are leading to electricity prices rising at more than twice the rate of inflation. I've covered that on PrepperNow as well. Funny how that video didn't do well. 80 years ago today, August 15th, 1945, Emperor Hirohito delivered a historic radio broadcast in which he announced Japan's acceptance of the Allied terms and effectively ended World War II. Decision came after the devastating atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the Soviet Union's declaration of war against Japan. Funny how in America we forget about that aspect of it, but that was a major part. Land still under Japanese control on the day of the surrender. Sam Altman has revealed who ChatGPT is really built for. It is India. They are the second largest market, may become the largest market. They've taken a lot of feedback from users in India and what they'd like from us, more affordable access, and we put that into ChatGPT 5. Caribbean Sea reports that are part of the deployment of the U.S. Navy air and naval forces to the southern Caribbean Sea to counter cartels will include multiple P-8 Poseidons, one ex-U.S. Navy vessel, and one SSN. CNN reports that this force is now expected to be bolstered with the U.S. Navy's Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Group, or ARG, and 22nd Marine Expeditionary Units, supported by multiple Arleigh Burke-class destroyers and a Ticonderoga-class cruiser. U.S. military is deploying over 4,000 additional troops to waters around Latin America as part of the Trump counter-cartel mission. U.S. military is deploying more than 4,000 Marines and sailors to the waters around the Latin American and Caribbean, part of a ramped-up effort to combat drug cartels. Two U.S. defense officials told CNN. We covered this on the last crisis report, which was called Cartels Targeted, or something like that. A dramatic show of force that will give the president a broad range of military opinions and options, should he want to target drug cartels. Deployment of the two Iwo Jima Amphibious Ready Groups and the 22nd Marine Expeditionary Unit to U.S. Southern Command, which has not been previously reported, is part of a broader repositioning of military assets to the Southcom area of responsibility that has been underway over the last 3 weeks, officials said. Nuclear-powered attack submarine, additional P-8 Poseidon reconnaissance aircraft, several destroyers, and a guided missile cruiser are also being allocated to U.S. Southern Command as part of the mission, officials said. Third person familiar with the matter said the additional assets are aimed at addressing threats to U.S. national security from specially designated narco-terrorist organizations in the region. PrepperNow note, I hope he hammers the F out of all those cartels for the death and destruction they have done on our young ones here in America. May God have mercy on their soul. ADL is labeled America First, anti-Semitic, racist, and xenophobic. Labor has dropped to below 20% in Britain. REF 31, LAB 19, CON 19, LD 12, GRN 10. By my count, that is a 51 to 49. No, let's see, 31. Yeah, about a 50-50 break down Britain's lines. Actually, no. Conservative, reform. Yeah, it's going conservative. Sorry. This is the lowest labor have polled in any survey of public opinion since July 2019, over 6 years ago. Aaron, the new hurricane, is rapidly intensifying into a Cat 5 hurricane, heading toward Puerto Rico and Leeward Islands. United States judge has ruled that targeting and destroying the Israeli flag constitutes discrimination against Jews. United States Secret Service says it will carry out a routine threat drill at the United States White House while Trump was in Alaska. Pretty sure they probably did that. Zelensky will visit the White House on Monday to meet with President Trump, aiming for a full peace agreement rather than just a ceasefire. Federal grand jury has begun deliberations against Obama-era officials tied to Russiagate. Air Canada has canceled hundreds of flights and suspended all operations following a massive strike by unionized flight attendants. Joint statement by the United Kingdom and the EU following the summit in Alaska. We refuse to stop supplying arms to Ukraine even after the agreement. United Kingdom and the EU stated in their joint statement that they will continue to integrate Ukraine into the EU and NATO. No restrictions should be imposed on the Ukrainian armed forces or their cooperation with third countries. International borders must not be changed by force. Our support for Ukraine will continue. Russia cannot oppose Ukraine's efforts to join the European Union and NATO, and we emphasize the need to provide a strong security guarantee to Ukraine to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity. We will continue to tighten sanctions and economic measures to put pressure on Russia until peace is achieved. The next step is to hold further talks with Zelensky's participation, according to Trump's vision. Basically, the war will continue to the last Ukrainian, according to Europe. Putin told Trump that he would end the war if Ukraine surrenders the Donetsk region in Russia. In the exchange, Putin stated that he would freeze Kherson and Zaporozhye front lines and not launch new territorial attacks. Volkswagen is introducing a monthly subscription fee to unlock full power of the engine in some of its electric car models, saying it is offering customers choice with the feature, which is just basically another way to screw you out of money. French President Macron will host a video conference with the British Prime Minister and German Chancellor to talk about the terms Putin gave at Alaska. According to close aides of Trump's, yesterday's meeting with Putin disappointed Trump. Now, this is the New York Times. According to a report from the New York Times, Russian President Vladimir Putin demanded guarantees that Russia become an official language of Ukraine, as well as security for Russian Orthodox churches, with him also refusing a future meeting or peace negotiation with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. I mean, it doesn't sound unreasonable. Zelensky has outrightly said he will not cede the Donbas territories to Russia, and documents marked as State Department materials allegedly containing Trump-Putin summit details were found in a public printer at an Anchorage hotel. Interesting. Friends, that is your crisis report for August 16th, 2025. We'll be back to regular programming tomorrow. We appreciate you being here. Please hit that like button, do the subscribe thing if you're new here. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals, one of the top-rated gold IRA companies out there, actually listed by CNBC for that regard. Please consider checking them out if you are into such possibilities for your IRA. We appreciate you being here. We hope that you would join us on Substack. We hope you would possibly consider becoming a member here for $2 a month, which helps keep the things going. And honestly, it is your gracious tipping and helping and membership and all that that really keeps the lights on here, because honestly, otherwise it would be very tough to just be able to do this without that. So I really appreciate you for being here and supporting me in that endeavor. And on that endeavor, I want to tell you all that's going on. I want to tell you the truth, good, bad, or indifferent. I want to give you every opportunity to understand all of the important information that is going on so you and your families can make wise decisions and navigate this very transformative landscape we're calling 2025. There are a lot of things that are just changing and rearranging, and power structures. And, you know, if you've been watching the geopolitics, which, you know, this channel is basically set up for, because it's my background, you'll understand that we are really in a early 1930s kind of feel around the world. There's a lot of territorial disputes. There's a lot of disputes on power and structure. And there's a lot of polarity in the world that is really up for grabs. So we want to watch this stuff closely. Friends, keep prepping. God bless. And we will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. Have a great day.